Hello friends, Liz here. I wanted to share with you my take on this week's live challenge over at Altenew YouTube channel. Here you will see me using Dreamy Dahlias Build a Garden stamp and companion layering stencil. I stamped the image using permanent black pigment ink. Apparently my ink pad was kind of dry, so I had to apply a couple of actually stamp a couple of times. Then you see me trying to speed up the drying process with my heat gun, being careful not to position it on top of my sticky mat directly. For all the layers of the flower, I use fresh dye ink in rose quartz, using a mini ink blending tool and different amounts of pressure. The video is of course sped up. You can see by the timer on the top of the screen that I'm going faster than I regularly would. Having a time set kind of pushes you to let go a little bit and refrain from trying to make everything perfect. At the beginning you saw me, I tried to stamp perfectly, but again, as time went by, I think I just went with the flow. You saw me applying berry mocha to the centers of the flowers, and now I'm applying firefly ink for the leaves. On hindsight, the berry mocha was a little dark for the centers, but again, had to let it go. For the stems, I applied a light coat of green before applying the berry mocha, as berry mocha is more on the reddish side of the spectrum, and I wanted it to be a little different from the centers, and I think it looks a little bit more brownish than reddish. So for the last layer of the flowers, I went back to the same ink color, rose quartz, and I applied more color with more pressure to give it a little bit more of depth. So here I'm applying the last layer for the leaves, which on hindsight I should have add more pressure and more color. I will probably do that later, but I started to panic then. I saw the timer and I started to panic because I needed to stamp the sentiment, which comes from the same stamp set, using permanent black pigment ink, but again, it is not, or it wasn't as juicy as it should have, and I had to stamp a couple of times. When removing your paper from your mat, it's easier to peel the mat off the paper to prevent the curling you see in my panel. So here you see me frantically applying dry glue with a glue stick because my liquid glue had disappeared, and believe it or not, I went for dark color splatters. If you know me, you know that those scare me often. So I used jet black ink spray from Altenew, and I truly like how it came about. What do you think?